Growing up, birthdays were just another reminder that I didn't belong. No balloons. No cake. No party hats. Just the occasional grunt from my dad as he passed me in the hallway. "Hey, you're a year older or whatever." And my mom telling me not to make a fuss. One year I got socks. Not even new ones. Just a pair my older cousin left behind and no one claimed. I'm not exaggerating. I was the middle kid, the buffer between my older sister, the golden child who got a sweet 16 party with a rented limo, and my younger brother, the surprise blessing, who got every new gadget the second it launched. Me? I was the background noise. The one expected to be low maintenance. Invisible unless there were chores to assign or a mistake to blame. There was one year, my 10th birthday. I remember sitting at the kitchen table, hopeful. I'd overheard my mom on the phone talking about getting cupcakes. My heart lit up like fireworks. Cupcakes. Finally, something. I spent the whole day grinning like a fool. Turns out the cupcakes were for my brother's soccer team. His coach was having a birthday too. Mine passed with a "Did you finish your math homework?" and a microwave dinner. By the time I hit 16, I'd stopped even mentioning my birthday. It was easier to pretend it didn't matter. Made the silence sting a little less. When my sister turned 21, my parents rented out a vineyard for a milestone celebration. When I turned 21, my dad asked if I could pick up some beer for his friends coming over for poker night. It wasn't just birthdays either. Every holiday, every family event, I felt like a seat filler in someone else's life. Like I was just there to round out the photo. "Oh yeah, that's our other one." By the time I moved out at 19, I had exactly one goal: disappear long enough that they'd notice. They didn't. But I noticed something else. That bitterness? It curdled into motivation. I got a job at a bookstore. Then another one doing late-night inventory at a grocery store. I took classes online, paid my rent on time, skipped takeout, and slowly started building something real. By 25, I had a decent apartment, a steady job in marketing, and a tiny dog named Pancake who loved me with the kind of intensity my family had never offered. And through all of it, I kept one thing in the back of my mind like a little spark. When I turn 30, I'm throwing myself the kind of party no one ever threw for me. Not to rub it in. Not even for revenge. Just because I wanted to finally feel seen. Even if I had to light the candles and clap for myself. As the years rolled by, I planned in quiet moments. A Pinterest board here. A Google Doc there. Every forgotten birthday layered into my planning like bricks. I wasn't going to rent a sad restaurant booth or slap together a last-minute cake. No. I wanted fireworks. A rented venue. A guest list full of people who loved me for me. And crucially, my family wasn't invited. Not out of spite. Out of respect. For myself. They had decades to celebrate me. They didn't. This one? This was mine. And nothing could have prepared me for what happened the night they crashed it anyway. Turning 30 felt like entering a new country, one where I finally had a passport, my own language, and full control over who got through the gates. The venue was a rooftop loft downtown. Glass walls. Fairy lights. DJ booth in one corner, taco bar in the other, and a massive banner behind the stage that read, "To the forgotten kid who never forgot." People thought it was poetic. They didn't know it was my origin story. There were friends from college, coworkers from my agency, my neighbors, a few gym buddies, and even the manager from the bookstore I worked at when I was 19, all people who'd shown up in my life with real kindness. Not pity. Not obligation. Presence. I greeted every single guest personally. Hugged. Laughed. Took photos. Wore this ridiculous gold crown my best friend Anna insisted on. I hadn't smiled that wide since, ever maybe. The DJ played a mix of 90s and early 2000s bangers, and the energy was electric. For the first time in my life, I was the center of something beautiful. Not the backup plan. Not the afterthought. Just me, fully lit, fully alive. And that's when I saw them. Near the entrance. Group of 3. My mother, my father, and my sister. No RSVP. No heads up. Just there. Like it was their idea all along. My mom was holding one of those generic gift bags you grab from Walgreens when you realize you forgot someone's birthday. She had a weird, overly bright smile on her face. My dad was squinting like he was trying to recognize the DJ. My sister had the audacity to wear white, like she was walking into her own celebration. They didn't look awkward. They looked entitled. Like they expected a red carpet and a microphone to give a toast. My blood turned to ice. I hadn't spoken to any of them in over a year. The last interaction was a half-hearted Christmas text my mom sent 2 days late that just said, "Hope you're well." And now they were standing in the middle of my space, looking around like they were inspecting a damn rental property. Anna was the first to notice. She came over to me, eyes wide. Did you invite your family?" "Nope," I said flatly. She glanced at the door. "Should I?" "Yup." I turned away before they could spot me. I wasn't doing this. Not tonight. This wasn't a confrontation. It was a boundary. A few seconds later, I saw security approach them. 2 big guys in black suits, gentle, firm, professional. I didn't hear the conversation, but I saw my mom gesture to herself, then to the party. My dad crossed his arms. My sister looked around like she was trying to spot someone who'd vouch for her. They were clearly saying, "We're family." But that didn't mean anything anymore. Not here. Not at my table. Security shook their heads. The taller one pointed toward the elevator. My sister's face twisted into something ugly. My mom opened her mouth, like she was about to cause a scene, but the shorter guard stepped in. Hand on the earpiece. All business. 5 minutes later they were gone. Not with a bang. With a door click. And that was the moment the real party started. Someone brought me a shot of tequila. Another friend played a birthday video montage. People were cheering, clapping, and for the first time in my life, I felt like I belonged, without having to earn it through silence or sacrifice. But the night wasn't over. Because while they were escorted out the front door, they weren't going to stay silent for long. Especially once they saw the photo I posted later that night, the one that would blow up, go semi-viral, and hit every one of their insecurities in high definition. At 11:42 p.m., slightly tipsy but high on joy, I posted the photo that set it all off. It was a wide-angle shot, me standing on stage with the DJ behind me, arms outstretched like I was soaking in the love of the universe. Gold crown on my head. Cake in front of me with giant candles that read, 30 and unbothered. Behind me, that same massive banner. To the forgotten kid who never forgot. The caption? No one celebrated me growing up. So I learned to celebrate myself. Here's to showing up, even when no one else does. Hashtag self-made birthday. I hit post and forgot about it. My phone was already at 8% and I had more important things to do, like open gifts from people who actually knew me, dance like an idiot to Mr. Brightside, and eat cake shaped like a gold crown. It wasn't until the next morning, hungover and blissfully tired, that I saw the notification flood. 1,382 likes. 62 comments. A DM request. From my mother. Ugh. The first comment that popped up was from a girl I hadn't seen since college. You were always the sweetest person in our dorm and it broke my heart how your family treated you. Happy birthday, King. Yellow heart. Then another. This post made me cry. I don't know you, but this is so real. Congrats on healing out loud. And another. And another. It was surreal. People I hadn't spoken to in years were commenting about how much I deserved this happiness. People I didn't even know were sharing it to their stories. Someone added it to a Reddit thread called Stories That Hit You Right in the Inner Child. It felt like justice. Not revenge. Just recognition. But of course, my family didn't see it that way. Message from Mom, 2:13 a.m. We came to support you and you had us thrown out. In front of everyone? What's wrong with you? Message from Dad, 2:28 a.m. Real mature. You embarrassed your mother. I hope it was worth it. Message from my sister, 2:32 a.m. Nice post. Real classy. You forgot who raised you. I stared at the screen for a good 10 minutes. Then I typed out the reply I'd been holding in for 30 years. To Mom. You didn't come to support me. You came to be seen. Seen at a party you never helped make possible. You didn't even know what day my birthday was until I started reminding myself. To Dad. You're right. I embarrassed you. That's what happens when the truth shows up to the party you tried to ignore. To my sister. Who raised me? Not you. I raised myself. Then I blocked all three. For the first time ever, my phone was silent on my birthday, but this time, it was because I chose the silence. Later that afternoon, Anna sent me a screenshot. Apparently, my mom had posted a Facebook status that read, "Sometimes the people you give the most to are the ones who turn on you the fastest. Family isn't blood anymore, I guess." One of her Facebook friends commented, "You talking about your middle kid? The one you forgot to post about for 10 straight birthdays?" Oof. But the real twist came that evening. A reporter, some lifestyle freelancer who followed one of my friends, DM'd me. "Hey! I saw your birthday post. I'm working on a piece about chosen families and late bloom healing. Would love to feature your story." I read the message twice. And laughed. Because the kid who never got a cupcake now had a shot at being the face of healing. Funny how that works. By Tuesday morning, my mom's Facebook was in full PR damage control mode. The post from the night before was gone, replaced with a black and white stock image of a broken heart and a new caption. "I'm just a mother who loved her children the best way she knew how. Some people only remember the bad, never the love." I almost spit out my coffee. Love? Lady, you once forgot I existed during a group family photo at my sister's graduation. I was literally taking the picture while she said, "Oh, we got everyone, right? But sure. Let's pretend love was just so subtle it was invisible." What they hadn't counted on was that I had screenshots. Birthday after birthday. Years of texts. Or more accurately, the lack of them. Me. Hey, just a reminder my birthday's next week. Mom, can you pick up extra ice for your sister's party? Me, age 19. I don't want anything big, just maybe dinner? Dad, we'll see. Depends if the game's on. Me, age 24. Any chance we can do something small for my birthday this year? Sister, aren't you too old for that? And then, silence. Silence like clockwork. Every single year. Until this one. Now suddenly I was family. So I posted an update on my original birthday post, not petty, just clear. For anyone wondering, no, my family didn't help with this celebration. They didn't attend by invitation. They crashed it. And they were asked to leave. I've spent 30 years pretending their version of love didn't come with conditions. I'm done pretending. If this makes me the villain in someone's story, so be it. I've been the background character in theirs for long enough. And then, for effect, I attached a photo collage. A picture of my 30th cake. A blurry shot of 10-year-old me blowing out one candle stuck into a Pop-Tart. A screenshot of a group text where I asked for birthday dinner ideas and got 0 replies. The reaction? Wild. People started commenting things like, "I feel this in my bones." This is the kind of healing that breaks generational curses. This is why I celebrate myself now. Even a verified therapist account reshared it, adding, "This is what reclaiming self-worth looks like." Meanwhile, my sister decided to throw a public tantrum on Instagram stories. Slide 1. Some people live for drama face with rolling eyes. Slide 2. A quote that read, "Real family forgives." Slide 3. A boomerang of her clinking glasses with some caption like, To the ones who matter, nail polish. Then came the DM. Are you done playing the victim? Grow up already. I took a deep breath. Then replied with the link to my original post and a single sentence. This victim just booked a feature in a mental health magazine. Blocked. Again. That night, my dad called me from a private number. I don't know what I expected. Maybe anger. Maybe guilt. Instead, I got, "You're really going to air all our dirty laundry online like this? What happened to family loyalty?" I laughed. Family loyalty? You mean like when I paid rent at 17 while you paid for Emma's sweet 16 with a horse-drawn carriage? Silence. You didn't care when I was crying myself to sleep alone in my dorm. You didn't care when I spent my 21st birthday microwaving ramen while you all went to Napa for Emma's rest weekend. His voice was quiet now. We didn't realize. You didn't want to realize. I corrected. And I hung up. That was the first and last time he called. But not the last twist in this story. Because what none of them knew. I had one more surprise planned, something symbolic. Poetic even. Let's just say it involved a billboard, their neighborhood, and my favorite quote from the party banner. Yeah. To the forgotten kid who never forgot. But that's in part 5. I didn't plan the billboard out of spite. Okay, maybe 5% spite. But the other 95%? That was art. That was poetry. That was 30 years of swallowed silence turned into a single, impossible-to-ignore sentence. Here's how it happened. A few days after the party, I was scrolling late at night, still buzzed from all the love I'd received online. Hundreds of strangers rooting for me. Friends demanding things like, "You're finally getting what you deserved all along." And then I got an idea. A beautifully petty, tragically poetic idea. I Googled, "Rent a billboard in my hometown." There was one. 2 blocks from the subdivision where my parents lived. Overlooking the main road that everyone used to drive in and out of the neighborhood. It cost $1,100 for 2 weeks. I didn't hesitate. A week later it went up. White background. Gold lettering. A cropped version of the party photo, me on stage, arms wide, crown shining. And underneath it, bold and simple. To the forgotten kid who never forgot. No name. No tag. No @ But if you knew, you knew. I waited. By 10 a.m. that morning, the text came in. Block number. You are a disgrace. You embarrass your family for attention. Take it down. Then another. Different number. How dare you put your personal issues on display for the whole community? And finally, from a cousin I actually liked. Bro. That billboard. Savage. I almost drove into a mailbox. I chuckled. That last one? That was the only reaction I cared about. Because deep down, this wasn't about vengeance. It was about evidence. Proof that I existed. That I endured. That I rose, not in private, but publicly, proudly, and with receipts taller than a 2-story home. My mom didn't call. My dad didn't text. My sister, according to a mutual, cried when she saw it. Apparently, she told people I was mentally unwell. That's rich coming from the woman who posted a revenge reel because I wouldn't let her cut my cake at my own party. But here's the kicker. A week into the billboard's run, the local paper published a tiny human interest piece on it. The birthday banner that sparked community talk. They didn't name me, but they quoted the caption. Sometimes, the people you leave out of the guest list are the reason you had to make one in the first place. At the end of the week, I got a letter in the mail. Handwritten. Shaky cursive. No return address. I knew who it was from before I even opened it. My mother. We didn't mean to forget your birthdays. We were busy. Life was hard. If this is what you needed to feel better about yourself, then I hope it was worth it. She underlined. Better about yourself. Like it was a crime to feel okay. There was no apology. Only explanation. The final sentence? You've hurt this family beyond repair. I folded it neatly, walked to the fireplace, lit a match, and let it burn. That was the day I finally understood. They didn't ignore me because they didn't know how to love. They ignored me because they didn't want to. And now, I didn't need them to. Because the next time I celebrated myself, it wouldn't be for survival. It would be for joy. And the guest list would still be exclusive. I should have known they wouldn't stay quiet. After the billboard, after the party post, after the digital firestorm that followed, it was only a matter of time before they tried to control the narrative. And of course, they didn't try to apologize in private like normal people. They went full performance mode. It started with a Facebook post from my sister. A photo collage, old childhood pictures, most of which didn't even include me, captioned, "No family is perfect. We make mistakes. We hurt. We heal. And we forgive. We're ready when you are. Red heart hashtag family first hashtag we love you. Ready when I am?" I burst out laughing in the middle of my work Zoom call. Had to pretend I was sneezing. Then came the real kicker. My mom emailed the local paper, the same one that ran the birthday banner piece, and submitted a public letter to the editor. A long, rambling monologue full of half-regrets and strategic deflections. Raising children isn't easy, especially when times are tough. If our middle child felt neglected, it was never intentional. We love all our children equally. Sometimes people get lost in their own emotions and forget the struggles others carry. She never named me. But she didn't have to. Everyone knew. And for a moment I wondered, should I respond? Post a new statement? Write a rebuttal? But then I remembered something beautiful. I didn't need to say a word. Because by now, everyone else was saying it for me. The comments under her post were brutal. "So you forgot his birthdays for 30 years and now you're mad he remembered it publicly? This reads like gaslighting in cursive. Imagine your child needing a billboard to feel seen. That's on you." The replies were so harsh, my sister turned off comments on her Instagram. My mom deleted her Facebook for a break. And me? I was eating tiramisu and watching the internet drag them for free. My best friend Anna texted me, "Do you realize this is the first time they're being held accountable for anything? Like ever?" She was right. They didn't expect pushback. They expected compliance, even now. Even after I had laid out my entire life, year by forgotten year, candle by missing candle. A week later, I threw a small post-birthday brunch at my apartment. Nothing fancy. Just 10 friends, mimosas, music, and laughter that felt like home. I brought out a second cake, this time not for me, but for my friend group. The words on it? "Thanks for showing up. Every time." Someone teared up. And it hit me all over again. Family isn't who raised you. It's who stayed. But even as I healed, the emails kept coming. Soft guilt trips from relatives I barely knew. They were just doing their best. "You're going too far now. Aren't you worried about burning bridges?" But those bridges? They never existed. I had been crossing a canyon alone my whole life. Building planks with every forgotten birthday, every missed hug, every moment I sat alone while someone else got a party. And now? Now the bridge was behind me. Gone. And I was dancing on the other side. But even after my family went dark online, the ripple effects didn't stop. The gossip had legs. One of my coworkers, someone who knew me but didn't know me, leaned over my desk one afternoon and said, "I saw your birthday photo. That was your real family, huh?" I didn't know how to answer. Because yeah, it was. And no, it wasn't. It was the family I built. The one that hadn't been assigned to me by biology, but by moments. Late-night phone calls. Tiny kindnesses. Quiet loyalty. The irony is, the people who raised me never taught me how to love. But they sure taught me what love wasn't. That same day, HR called me into a meeting. Apparently, my parents had shown up in the building lobby, uninvited, asking for me by name. I was stunned. I didn't think they even knew where I worked. I said. The receptionist shrugged. They were persistent. The front desk had turned them away, but it left me rattled. This was no longer just emotional messiness. This was an ambush. I went home, poured a glass of wine, and opened the text message I'd been ignoring all day, another number I didn't recognize. Please talk to us. We're sorry, okay? But you humiliated us. Can't we meet privately? And there it was again. That twist. We're sorry, but also it's your fault. Even their apologies had disclaimers. So I didn't respond. Instead, I forwarded the message to Anna, added a laughing emoji, and texted, "Do we think this counts as growth?" She wrote back, "Only if the next text is, 'We bought you cupcakes and therapy.'" We both knew it wouldn't be. That night, I walked over to my birthday banner, now hanging on my apartment wall like a trophy. "To the forgotten kid who never forgot." And I whispered, "I remember. But I don't regret." Because I didn't need to be forgiven for finally showing up for myself. I just needed to keep showing up. They always told me I was dramatic. Every time I cried as a kid, every time I asked for basic kindness, I got the same phrases. "Why are you making such a big deal? It wasn't that serious. Stop being so sensitive." But now, they were the ones showing up at my office building like extras in a bad sitcom, clutching bags from a department store I hadn't stepped foot in since high school. The kind that screams, "Guilt gift," in loud, pastel tissue paper. I found out not because they messaged me first, no, they knew I wouldn't respond, but because my HR manager called me into her office again. "They say they're your family," she said, peeking over her glasses. "And they're here to make things right." Make things right. That phrase should have felt good. It should have landed like relief. Instead, it felt like sandpaper. I stood up, dusted off my blazer, and headed downstairs with a knot in my chest that I couldn't untangle, part rage, part resignation, part that same little kid ache that still whispered, "Maybe they really mean it this time." They were standing by the front doors like they owned the place. Mom. Dad. And yes, of course, Emma, wearing designer sunglasses indoors, as if she needed protection from the truth. "Look who finally came down," my dad said, like we were catching up over brunch and not standing on a public sidewalk after years of neglect. My mom stepped forward first, holding out a small square box. "We got you something. Belated, but..." I didn't take it. "Why are you here?" I asked, voice flat. "To talk," she said quickly. "To fix this." "You don't fix 30 years of silence with a Macy's gift box," I replied. Emma scoffed. "You act like we were monsters." I stared at her. "Do you remember my 18th birthday?" She blinked. "Of course. You posted 3 selfies of you at brunch with friends and captioned it, 'Best day ever with the fam.' I wasn't in any of them. I was home. Alone. Cleaning out the garage because Dad said I was old enough to earn my cake." No one spoke. I kept going. "You all thought I'd never matter. That I'd never speak up. And now that I have, you're embarrassed, not sorry." My mom's lip quivered. "That's not true." "Then why are you here now?" I asked. "Why not all those years I begged for acknowledgement?" She opened her mouth, closed it. Dad stepped in. "We made mistakes. But this online circus you're creating. There it is," I snapped. "Your shame. Your reputation. That's what this is about." I turned to go. Emma muttered, "You're unbelievable." I stopped. "Look back." "No," I said. "I'm done being believable. I'm done waiting for you to clap when I blow out the candles." And I walked back inside. Security closed the doors behind me. They stayed there for a few minutes, talking to each other with that same frantic, performative energy they always had when things didn't go their way, hands flying, head shaking, trying to salvage whatever mask they thought still fit. Back at my desk, I opened the gift box. Not because I cared, but because I needed to see what they thought would patch a crater. Inside was a men's watch. Engraved on the back, "Time heals." Love, Mom and Dad. The irony almost made me laugh. I tossed it in the back of my desk drawer. Time doesn't heal. Accountability does. And they still hadn't given me a second of it. But the next day? That's when things really shifted. Because that's when someone else reached out, someone unexpected. Someone who wasn't trying to save face, but maybe, just maybe, save the truth. It came in a plain white envelope with handwriting I hadn't seen in years. Slanted cursive. Slightly shaky. No return address, but I knew instantly who it was from. Aunt Ruth. My mom's older sister. The only person in the family who ever remembered my birthday without Facebook doing the reminding. The one who'd mail me a $10 bill and a hand-drawn card when I was 8, with a note that said, "Spend it on something fun, not something practical." The one who quietly pulled me aside at Emma's sweet 16 and said, "You matter too, even if no one here says it." I opened it slowly, careful not to tear anything. Inside was a 2-page letter, written on soft cream stationery with little pressed flowers in the corner. Dear my name. I saw the billboard. I saw the post, too. And I cried, not because I was angry, but because I've known this truth for a long time. I just didn't know if you did. I want to say something that no one in this family had the courage to. You weren't crazy. You weren't overreacting. You were invisible. And it broke my heart, year after year, to watch them treat you like the seat filler in a play they were performing for each other. I tried to speak up. Once I told your mother you deserved a party. She told me, "He's not the type who needs attention." But sweetheart, everyone needs attention. Especially the kind that says, "You belong here. You matter here." At that point, I had to stop reading. My throat was tight. I hadn't cried through the party, the billboard, the confrontation at work, but this? This undid me. Because for once, someone in my own bloodline didn't just see me, she remembered. When I saw what you wrote, when I saw you standing there in your crown with all those beautiful friends and that banner behind you, I didn't see pettiness. I saw power. I saw healing. I saw you finally stepping into the spotlight you always deserved. I hope you know you didn't ruin anything. You didn't destroy the family. You simply refused to play dead in a story they wrote without you. And that's something worth celebrating every single year. Love. Aunt Ruth. I read it 3 times. Then I put it on my fridge, right next to a Polaroid from the party, me, Anna, a slice of cake, and my stupid gold crown. A week later, I mailed Aunt Ruth a thank you card and included an invitation. Next year, same rooftop. But you're getting the first slice of cake. It's funny how people say, you can't choose your family. I used to believe that. But now, I know you absolutely can. You choose them every time you pick someone who shows up for you, listens to you, celebrates you without conditions or competition. You choose them when you stop begging for scraps from the people who only offer love with strings attached. So next year, when I turn 31? No big party. No drama. Just a backyard cookout with the people who kept clapping when no one else did. And maybe, just maybe, I'll still wear the crown. Because now, I know I earned it.